I'm a running coach and I have a confession to make that's going to shock you. I will never be a fast runner. Not tomorrow, not next year, not if I train for the next decade. And you know what? That revelation completely changed not only how I coach, how I run, and honestly, it really helped me fall in love with running all over again. Hey, if you've never felt like you're not a real runner because you're either slow, you take walk breaks, or you finish in the back of the pack, this video is going to flip everything you think about as far as measuring your running success. Because what I'm about to share is going to go against everything the running world tells us we should want. This is why I like to say that us women over 50 are making up our own running rules. Let me tell you how this all started for me, how I personally measure my running success, and the Jedi mind trick I use to make it happen. Let's be honest about the running world for a minute. Open any running magazine, scroll through any Instagram, check out any running forum or Facebook group, and what do you see? It's all about getting faster. Shave minutes off your 5K, break that PR, speed workouts that will transform your running, even run slow to get fast. And look, I get it. I fell into this trap too when I first started running. I thought that speed and getting faster were the only things that there was to running. I even remember at one point thinking that I wanted to run the Boston Marathon because it's in my home state, which meant though that I would have to qualify with my time. And at that time, I also decided to start teaching a Easy 8 running camp. It wasn't a coaching certification, but I was starting to dabble into the idea. And I'm cringing as I tell you this because one of the reasons it's called Easy 8 was to help people get to an 8-minute mile in 8 weeks. I wouldn't even care about that right now. Then I started seeing it happen. Every month when I timed the mile to see how they were doing with their speed, either they didn't show up or they would get so anxious about it. And if they didn't get better from the month before, they would start beating themselves up about it. I started hearing them say things like, I'm too slow, I'm not cut out for this, maybe I should quit. And that's when I had the epiphany. All that speed stuff was just a bunch of garbage. Well, at least for me, and I could see how it was affecting their mindset. Is speed a way to measure your success? Of course it is. And a lot of people love to use that. That's fine. But there are other ways. So why don't I ever want to become a faster runner? Honestly, it's a choice. A choice that you can make too, as a matter of fact. And if you need help making that choice, go down in the description, book a call with me so we can work through it together. But listen, in the long run, pun intended, it's about sustainability for me. I want my body to last. I've seen too many people chase speed, end up getting injured, burning out, and then they start hating the thing that they love. I always say if I drop dead on a trail at 100 years old, I'll be a happy camper. I don't want running to feel like pressure. For me, this is my lifestyle. It's how I de-stress. And frankly, it is self-care. Not another thing that's on my to-do list that has to get done. So let me tell you about the 3 ways that I measure running success, and they're not in any particular order because they're equally important. First thing, the feel-good factor. My goal for just about any race is to feel good the entire time. This goes against that competitive grain of go all out, give it all you've got. And again, nothing wrong with that if that's what you want, but that sounds like not like a fun way for me to spend my time. When I can finish a race and I feel like $1,000,000, that is a really good race. And don't get me wrong, I like to push myself here and there. But generally speaking, I just like to get into my body when I'm running. I like to have my mind and body connected so I can feel what's happening. I like to see what other adjustments I can make so that I could become more effortless in my form. I really don't understand this idea of suffering through a run that all these people talk about. I've learned to respect that every runner has different goals, but if I'm suffering, I'm not having fun, and what's the point? My first 100K is a great example. I use the word epic to describe it. My goal the entire time was to feel good and have fun, and I did. And by the way, I have the word joy on here. That's another word that I love to use when I talk about my first 100K. Number 2 is fun. Let's be real. I have way more fun when I stop obsessing about my pace. Obsessing about speed just sucks all the joy out of it for me. Again, don't get me wrong. I love my speed workouts. I love running downhill because I'm actually really good at it. But those are all choices. that I make in those moments, not something I think about on every run. And if a race is not going to be fun for me, why bother? Many people don't consider running fun, but I do. And hey, I get it. There is a love-hate relationship with it as well. If I'm not going to have fun, why do it? I'll say that again. Strictly my opinion, but pushing myself to a point of complete exhaustion just doesn't sound fun to me. This means I'll stop and smell the roses. I love to take pictures, especially if I'm in a new location. I've hung out with friends I haven't seen in a while that are volunteering at the aid stations. And heck, I've even stopped at an aid station for 20 minutes because they had some good alcohol. And I was just having fun. Third one, lack of injuries. If I can run as much as I want, have fun, and enjoy it, and not get injured too, well, that's just the icing on the cake. Now I can keep doing what I love to do and not get sidelined by injuries. Last time I had a running injury was, I think it was back in 2021. And keep in mind, at this point, I've done 300 Ks, 150 miler, 140 miler, a bunch of marathons and 50 Ks, along with many miles that train for that. I give the biggest credit to Chi Walking and Chi Running, as it has completely changed my life. Poor running technique is one of the reasons runners, especially newer ones, get injured. Everyone assumes you put one foot in front of the other and you're good to go. But if that were true, 65% of runners wouldn't be getting injured every year. It's not running that causes the injuries, but how you run. Of course, I also stretch regularly, I do my mobility and my strength training, and I follow a training plan which factors all of that in so that I can achieve my running success. Imagine going into a race with no major nervousness about how you're going to perform. Imagine going into it thinking about how much fun you're going to have and how good it's going to feel. Huge weight lifted off the shoulders. This is how I go into just about any race, and it's never failed me. When I go into a race thinking about setting a personal record, it changes everything, and not for the better. I haven't done this in a while, but for this exact reason. So how do I do it? Here's that Jedi mind trick that I mentioned. My number one strategy is detachment and making a conscious choice not to care about how fast I finish a race. I first heard about this. It's called the law of detachment from Deepak Chopra when I first started meditating. Definitely not the easiest thing to do in the world, but like everything else, it takes practice, and it's great because it affects all other areas in my life as well. I basically go into a race being detached from any speed goals. I might say I'd like to PR this race, but if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. And I'll focus on celebrating what I did do well. And that usually ends up being everything that I just shared with you. I also focus on being in the present moment rather than worrying about the future, which is the finish line. I know it sounds cliche, but I'm focusing on the journey, not the destination. The finish line is a moment and the icing on the cake, but the real magic happens on the journey as you get to that moment. Here's something I want you to take with you. Slow isn't bad. Slow means steady. Slow means strong. Slow means I'm giving my body the chance to keep moving for decades. When you can shift your definition of success, everything changes. Suddenly you're not failing. You're building a running life you can actually enjoy for the rest of your life. If you're a beginner or recreational runner, you can just take a big sigh of relief right now. It's your running story and you can do what you want. I am a coach and I say this. As someone who does this for a living and has finished dead effing last before at races and also as a back of the pack runner in general, trust me, you can make your own rules. So right, I'll never be a fast runner, and I'm more than okay with that because I'll be a consistent runner. I'm going to be a joyful runner, a runner who's still getting out there in their 70s and the 80s. And honestly, that's the kind of runner I want to be. And hey, if you'd like to talk more about how running can fit beautifully into your life, I'd love to invite you to book a free chat with Coach Lisa Call. We'll figure out what works for you without any of the pressure, without needing to be fast, just helping you make your own rules. So go down in the description and click on that link and let's chat. See you in the next video.